Hello everyone. In today's topic we are going to discuss about the cardiovascular system. It is a vast topic. So in today's topic we are going to see just the introduction of the cardiovascular system. Due to my health condition I was not able to post videos for so many months. So kindly excuse me. So shall we start the video? Introduction to cardiovascular system. The cardiovascular system is classified into two main parts. Cardio, it means heart, and vascular means blood vessels. So the cardiovascular system has two parts, that the heart and the blood vessels. So cardio, the meaning is heart, and the vascular means blood vessels. The heart, its pumping action helps in constant circulation of the blood. So how a motor is pumping all the water or anything may be it. So how it is being action of pumping, so that like that way the heart is pumping the blood into all the parts of the body. Okay, so the pumping action helps in the constant circulation of the blood. Not even a single second it rests. Its function is pumping. Okay, so the blood vessels, it forms a lengthy network through which the blood flow. The blood vessels, it is the lengthy network between the heart and all the parts of the body. So the heart and all the parts of the body are connected through the blood vessels. So the heart pumps blood to the body into two anatomically separate systems through the blood vessels. So the blood supply is being transferred to all the parts of the body from the heart by two processes. What is that is called as the pulmonary circulation and the systemic circulation. Here you can see the pulmonary circulation, that is the which is happening between the lungs and the heart, and the systemic circulation which is happening between the heart and the all the body tissues and parts. Okay, here you can see this is the lungs. Imagine this is a lungs, this is a heart, and this is all the tissues and the body. So the blue color means it is contains the deoxygenated blood, that is the blood that contains only carbon dioxide. Okay, here you can see the red color, which is the oxygenated blood, the blood that contains oxygen. So it is denoted as the red color, and the deoxygenated blood is denoted as the blue color. So the lungs, from the heart the deoxygenated blood is being pumped to the lungs. So the lungs, where the purification takes place as we inhale the oxygen from the atmosphere, the oxygen is being transferred and the purification takes place, and the purified blood is being transferred to the heart, and from the heart it is transferred to the all the parts of the body, and from the body parts the waste products are being carried to the heart. So it is a systemic, it's a circulatory thing which is happening between the lungs, heart, and the body tissues. So the right side of the heart pumps the blood to the lungs, and it is known as the pulmonary circulation, where the gas exchange takes place. That is, the blood collects oxygen from the air sacs or alveoli, and the excess amount of carbon dioxide diffuses into the air sacs for exhalation. So here you can see this is the blood vessel which contains more amount of oxygen, so it is red color. So the oxygen is being transferred, diffused. So from the higher, the oxygen concentration is high, it is being transferred from the higher oxygen concentration gradient to the lower oxygen concentration gradient, and from there the carbon dioxide is high now. So from there it is being diffused into the blood. So when the carbon dioxide being diffused, it is turned into blue color. So this is what happening in the lungs. So it is called as the pulmonary circulation. The left side of the heart pumps blood into the systemic circulation. It supplies to the rest of the body parts. Here the tissue waste are passed into the blood for excretion, and the blood cells extracts all the nutrients and oxygen. Here you can see the oxygen is being transferred from the blood to the all the parts of the tissues and everything, and from there it is being the waste products and all the nutrients or whatever may be it, which is not being which is not mandatory, it is being transferred to the blood. So that is called as the systemic circulation. The cardiovascular system helps in the continuous flow of blood to the body cells, and its function is to monitor the continuous physiological adjustment to maintain an adequate blood supply. The main function is to maintain the adequate blood supply. It ensures that the blood supply is being adequate to all the parts of the body, all the parts of the body cells, everything. If the supply of oxygen and nutrients to the body cells become inadequate, the tissue get damaged and the cell death may occur. So if the oxygen supply is not adequate, the tissue will get damaged and the cell death will occur. So first we seen about the heart. Next about the blood vessels. The blood vessels varies in their structure, size and function, and there are several types what are called as the arteries, arterioles, capillaries, venules and veins. So here you can see in this diagram the artery which is the size is being decreased and it is branching and it is called as arteriole, and from the arteriole it is very thin like structure, this is called as the capillaries, and from the capillaries it is being branched into and it forms the venule, and from there it's the vein. This is a process, this is a continuous circulation from arteries, arterioles, capillaries, venules and veins. Okay, so this is a we'll see everything in detail. Arteries and arterioles, I've made it into simple English so that you can understand by reading it. Okay, so I'm not explaining it that much. Arteries and arterioles, they transport blood away from the heart. Okay, these vary in size and their wall consists of three layers tissues, namely tunica adventitia, tunica media and tunica intima. So the arteries and the arterioles have three main layers, that is the tunica adventitia, that is the outer of the fibrous tissue. Here you can see the outer layer is called as the tunica adventitia, which consists of the outer fibrous tissue. Tunica media, that is the middle layer. Here you can see the middle layer, it consists of the smooth muscle and the elastic tissue. Tunica intima, the inner layer consists of the squamous epithelium called the endothelium. So the inner layer consists of endothelium, the middle layer consists of smooth muscle and the elastic tissue, and the outer layer consists of the fibrous tissue. Okay, so the amount of the muscular and the elastic tissue varies in the arteries. It depends upon the size and the function. So as you can see, the amount of the muscular and the elastic tissue, that is the tunica media, the middle layer. Media means middle layer. You can remember like that. Media and the muscle and the elastic tissue, it varies, depends upon the size and the function. In large arteries, including aorta, the tunica media consists of more elastic tissue and less smooth muscle. So in this, I told that it consists of this elastic tissue and the smooth muscle. So the amount of the elastic tissue is more than the smooth muscle. For what this allows the vessel wall to stretch and helps in absorbing the pressure wave generated by the heart when it beats. So when the heart is beating, there will be a pressure which is being formed, and the pressure is being absorbed by this wall, the vessel wall, which contains more amount of, for that purpose it is containing more amount of elastic tissue and less amount of smooth muscle. These proportion gradually changes as the arteries branch many times and become small blood vessels, that is the arteriole, the smallest artery. The smallest arteries are called as the arterioles. So the amount of this, the smooth muscle and the elastic fiber, it being reduced and it is being decreased as the arteries are becoming thinner, that is the smallest arterioles, smallest arteries, that is the arterioles. Okay, so the tunica media, the middle layer, consists of mostly of smooth muscle. It consists mostly of the smooth muscle. This enables their diameter to be precisely controlled and it regulates the pressure within them. So the diameter of this arteries are being controlled by the middle layer, which consists of the smooth muscle. To withstand the high pressure of arterial blood arteries have thicker walls than the veins. Because of this high pressure in the arteries have thicker walls than the veins. Here you can see the walls of the arteries are being thicker than the veins. Okay, here you can see it is being thicker than the veins. So anastomosis on end artery. This is just information, just for information I've given it. Anastomosis are arteries that link between the main arteries supplying the blood to an area. Example, the artery supplying to the brain and the joints. So anastomosis are the arteries that is forming a link between the main artery and the arteries which is being supplied. Here you can see there is a block, so it is not having any blood supply. So anastomosis means that it forms a link between a artery that is being having good supply and to an artery which is not having a good supply of blood. Okay, if one artery supplying an area is occluded, the anastomotic artery provides a collateral circulation. Here you can see there is a block being occurring and the tissues here is not getting adequate blood supply. So at that point of time, this artery, the anastomotic artery, it helps. This provides an adequate blood supply when the occlusion occurs gradually, giving an anastomotic arteries time to dilate. Here you can see because of this block it is not getting blood supply. So here it forms an anastomosis, that it forms a link to the artery and it helps in the time to dilate. It helps this block to get, it gives a time to dilate, so that till that time these tissues are being supplied with this anastomosis. An end artery is an artery that is the main source of blood supply to a tissue. Example, the central artery, retina of the eye, the branches of the villus in the brain. So there are arteries that is called as the end artery, that is the main source of supply to the retina of the eye. For example, it is giving retina of the eye and the villus in the brain. When an end artery is occluded, the tissues it supplies tissues the tissues it supplies die because there is no alternative blood supply to the tissue. Here you can see the block is being occurring, so anastomosis is being provided, but there is no adequate blood supply and the end arteries, and so the end artery, what happens, the tissue is becoming dying and the necrosis occurs. So this is just for given information I'm giving it. So capillaries and sinusoids. What is capillaries? Here you can see, from here you have to see arteries, arterioles, capillaries, venules and veins. So the arteries, it branches and forming an arterioles. From there it branches in small one and it called as capillaries. From there it branches and it joins and becomes venules, and then it has veins. The smallest arterioles branches up into a number of minute vessels called capillaries. The arteries, here you can see the arterioles have been forming a minute vessels and it is called as the capillaries. The capillary walls consist of a single layer of endothelial cells, which is a very thin basement membrane through which the water and other small molecules can pass through. Here you can see this is a capillary. So the capillary has only a single layer of endothelial cells because for the absorption of water and the small molecules. The blood cells and the large molecules such as the plasma protein cannot normally pass through the capillary wall. So it very water and small molecules can pass through, and the big molecules like the blood cells, plasma, protein cannot be passed through. The capillaries form a vast network of tiny vessels that forms the link between the smallest arterioles and the smallest venules. So the link between the venules and the arteries is only through this capillaries. It is a vast tiny vessel network. Okay, so diameter is approximately 7 mu m, which is the size of an erythrocyte. Here you can see the diameter of the capillary is very small, that is a 7 mu m, that is the size of an erythrocyte, is an RBC. Okay, here you can see an artery. It is a thick layer of muscle is there and a thick outer wall is there. Because of the high pressure, thick outer wall is there. Here vein, very thin outer wall is there and very thin inner elastic and the smooth muscle is there. Okay, so venules and the veins. The veins take blood to the heart at low pressure. Arteries take at high pressure. Arteries takes blood from the heart at high pressure, and venules take blood to the heart at low pressure. It's taking. So the veins have the same three layers of the tissue, but the walls of the veins are thinner than the arteries. As we have seen that the walls of the arteries are thinner, but the walls of the arteries are thinner. The walls of the veins are thinner than the arteries. They are thinner because in tunica media there's a less muscle and elastic tissue. That's why the veins carry blood at low pressure. Here you can see that they are thinner because in tunica media there is less muscle and elastic tissue. Here you can see the muscles and the elastic tissue are less. Here the muscle and the elastic tissue are the more. So that's why here high pressure, and in vein that is low pressure. When a cut is made, the veins collapse while the thick-walled arteries remains open. So when you have came across that so many times, you have a cut in your hand or something. So in few minutes what happens, the veins become constricted and the blood flow will be reduced and the cut will be closed easily. But what happens when a cut is made in an artery, the blood spurts and the high pressure, while a slower and steady flow of blood escapes from the vein. So from that you can see that when a blood is being spurted, that means it splashes, the blood is being splashed at high pressure. We made a cut in an artery. When it is very slow, the blood escaping from the vein. That is the difference. The smallest veins are called the venules. So here you can see the veins are being small. That is called as the venules. Some veins have valves which prevent the black flow of the blood so that the blood flow towards the heart. So here you can see So the veins have valves. Here you can see the valves are being present here, which for what purpose means to prevent the backflow of the blood. So while we are standing or standing, it is being against the gravity, the valves are being closed to prevent the backflow of the blood from the different parts of the body. Okay, the valves are formed by a fold made up of tunica intima or strengthened by the connective tissue. Here you can see there is a small fold that is made up of tunica intima and it is being strengthened by the connective tissue. These cups are semilunar in shape and the concavity is towards the heart. So it is towards the heart. This concavity is towards the heart. It is a shape of a semilunar shape. Okay. The valves are abundant in the limbs. So as I've said earlier, when we are standing and all, the valves that is being abundant in the limbs, especially the lower limb, where the blood must travel at certain distance against the gravity when the person is standing. When the person is standing, the blood must travel against the gravity, so that the lower limbs have so many valves. They are absent in very small and large veins, that is in the thorax and the abdomen. Okay, the valves are helps in maintaining one-way flow by the skeletal muscles surrounding the veins. So the valves are being surrounded by the skeletal muscles, so it helps in maintaining the one way of the blood flow. Okay, veins are called as capacitance vessels because the veins are distensible. So as I've told earlier, the most of the here you can see the blue ones are the veins. It is very it is connecting so many things here, as you can see here, and it is called as a capacitance vessel. It can hold so many amount of blood in it, and it is distensible. It is like a band, elastic band. It is like it can extend. Okay, because of this, the veins have the capacity to hold a large portion of the body's blood. So body's blood, large portion is being holded by this veins. At any one time, about 2/3 of the body's blood is in the venous system. The 2/3 of the body's blood is being present in this veins, the venous system. This allows the vascular system to absorb to an extent sudden changes in the blood volume, that is the hemorrhage. The vein can constrict and prevent a sudden fall in the blood pressure. Because of this property, when there is so much of blood volume is being present in this veins, when the hemorrhage means so heavy bleeding is being occurred, the veins, what happen, it constrict the part and the sudden fall in the blood pressure is being reduced. Okay, so this is a tabular column: arteries, capillaries and veins. So function: arteries that carry blood away from the heart at high pressure, it return blood to the heart at low pressure. Capillaries, it supply all the cell requirements, take away the waste products. Okay, this is the thing. Structure of the wall: thick, strong, contain muscles, elastic fiber and fibrous tissue. It's very thin. It consists of only one cell. It is thin, mainly fibrous tissue, consists far less muscle and less elastic tissues being present. Lumen, that is narrowed, very narrow, it is wide. Varies with heartbeat. Increases at a as a pulse of the blood passes through, just wide enough for a red blood cell to pass through. That means the narrow lumen means that the diameter of the opening of the artery and the veins. So you can see lumen means the opening. Okay, you can see the lumen, the opening. Here a large lumen is being present, very small lumen. So the small lumen for the artery, the large lumen for the vein and very small lumen for the capillary. So that is being mentioned here. Lumen means this. Valves is not present, only it is present in the veins for to prevent the blood flow. So these are the how the structure fit the function. So when you read, you can just understand. Okay, so and there is the capillary exchange. As I told you that the capillary exchange in capillaries only, mainly the exchange of gases takes place, and in internal respiration what happens, it is the process in which the gases are exchanged between the capillary blood and the blood cells. So this is a capillary, and what happens is the capillary and the blood cells are exchange of the gases are being takes place. Oxygen is carried from the lungs to the tissues in the body. It combines with hemoglobin as oxyhemoglobin. So when we are inhaling, what happens, we are inhaling oxygen and it is being carried to the lungs, to the tissues in the body. So what happens, it combines with the hemoglobin, so Hb, that is hemoglobin and oxygen, it combines and forms the oxyhemoglobin. So the exchange of gases in the tissue takes place between the blood at the atrial end of the capillaries and the tissue fluid, and from the tissue fluid to the cell. So what happens from the artery end, it takes place in the tissues, and from the tissues it takes place to the, again back to the venous end of the capillary. Okay, so here you can see the oxygen rich blood is being carried, and when the tissues is needed or more amount of oxygen, the oxygen is being transferred from the high area to the low concentration area. And what happens, oxygen is more here. Now the carbon dioxide is diffusing from the cells, which is being excreted from this body tissues to the blood. Okay, so the oxygen diffuses down its concentration gradient from the oxygen-rich arterial blood supply in the tissue. The oxygen levels are lower in the tissue because of the constant tissue consumption. Okay. So oxyhemoglobin is an unstable compound and breaks up easily and liberates oxygen. So the oxygen which is not being carried directly, it is carried in the form of oxyhemoglobin from in the blood. Okay. So the carbon dioxide is one of the waste products of the cell metabolism and towards the venous end of the capillary. So what I told you earlier, that the carbon dioxide is the waste product of the cell. It is being transferred to the venous end of the, blue means venous, red means atrial, arteries. Okay, atrial end of the capillary. The carbon dioxide diffuses into the blood down its concentration gradient. So the concentration gradient, which we'll see, if the oxygen concentration is low, oxygen from high area, it is being transferred to the low area. If the carbon dioxide is more here and carbon dioxide is less, it is transferred from here to lower concentration gradient. Okay, so this is our topic today. So we'll just conclude it. Here you can see that the lungs, heart and the body tissues, the deoxygenated blood means it will be in blue color and the oxygenated blood will be in the red color. So the deoxygenated blood is being carried to the lungs for purification, and in the capillaries the main oxygen and carbon dioxide transfer is being taking place, and from there the pure oxygen rich blood is being carried to the heart, and from the heart the oxygen rich blood is being carried to all the parts of the body, and from the tissues the deoxygenated blood is carrying to the heart. So this is systemic circulation, and this is the pulmonary circulation. So the main blood vessels are the arteries, arterioles, capillaries, venules and the veins. So we have discussed about everything, and in next topic we will discuss about the structure of the heart, what are the cycle, cardiac cycle, everything. Okay, thank you so much. If you have any doubt, just post in the comment section below, and anything just let me know. Thank you so much.